Chicago Bears. We go from Ryan Poles right into the new head coach. So we told you it's a Bears Bonanza.
Told you what it was.
We go back out to the Corona hotline and we say hello to I think Matt is now the 17th, I believe, the 17th head coach in Bears history. Matt Eberflus joins Carmen and Jurko on ESPN 1000. Coach, congrats on the gig and welcome to Chicago. How are you?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'm doing well.
We were just talking to Ryan, like what led you to Matt, and why not go offense with Justin Fields? He seemingly is so integral and so important to this franchise. And he was talking about you and what impressed him about you. Was there something you think in particular maybe that sort of helped you win over Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears as you were interviewing for this job?
No, I just think that we see the football the same way. That it's a clear and concise, with conviction, a plan. How we want to operate and what we want the Chicago Bears to look like. What is that? And I think that when I explained it to him and we had talked about it and we looked at it, it was in line with his vision. And that's what we hit it off right away.
So when defense is your specialty, Coach, like how do you start putting together that offensive staff? Like what are you looking for? And we know when we want to talk about Luke Getsy in a little bit too, but like what are you looking for as you start adding to the offensive staff, knowing the importance of getting Justin right in this offense on track?
Yeah, it's really about the men that you're putting together as an offensive staff, defensive staff, and a special team staff, and then more importantly, as a whole entire staff. We're going to cross the aisle here. We're not going to be segmented. We're always going to cross the aisle and share ideas, offense, defense, kicking, because we all want to grow. And we're going to do that. So it's about the men we bring in. That have great chemistry with each other, okay, that are innovative, smart, hardworking, okay, and they can work well together. So that to me is the biggest thing we're doing right now, and it's a big process. We're obviously we got Luke in the boat, a critical piece, and man, he's such an innovative young man, and we're excited to put this offense together, around Justin and the skill level we have, throughout the whole offensive line, tight end, receiver level, and running back level. So we're excited about doing that. So we're getting to work today on that, and that's ongoing.
Bears head coach Matt Eberflus joining us. It's Carmen and Jurko on ESPN 1000. Speaking of Luke Getsy, fast riser from what we've heard, bright guy. How long have you had your eye on him, and what drew you to Luke?
Yeah, you're in the league here, 13, 14 years. You have your eye on a bunch of different things. You look at scheme, teams that are efficient, teams that have a friendly quarterback offensive system, football teams that can run the football effectively, not just straight downhill at you. Yeah, we're going to do that, but also creating new ways and innovative ways to run the football. And that's what Luke has brought to the table, even when he was in college. I had some friends down there that were down there with him, and they just said what an innovative coach and what a great person he was, even when he was in college calling the plays. So I've been watching him for a while now, and we've stayed in touch, and it's a great relationship that we've had, and I'm looking forward to building upon that.
Coach, you inherited a 3-4 team, and I assume you're going to an over-under 4-3 scheme here. How much of a difference is going to be for these guys, and will they be able to adjust?
Yeah, what's really good is this is the third time I've done it. I did it, when we were in Dallas, and from 2014 in that area we did it when we had DeMarcus Ware, Anthony Spencer, and all those players, those great players, Sean Lee, Keith Brooking, and all those guys. We switched it over, and they enjoyed it. They loved it because it was the ability to get up the field and penetrate at the defensive line level, play downhill as linebackers, and it gave you the freedom to play and to have vision to play in the back end to get the takeaway. So the guys really love the system. It's easy to teach, it's easy to play, and it's player friendly. And that's what we're excited about doing. So yeah, it's good. And then we brought it to Indianapolis. We did the same thing. We had I think it was 30 or 31st ranked defense and brought them to a top 10 in the first year. And we switched those players over, and again, same response. They loved it. They're excited to play in it, and it's player friendly.
Matt Eberflus is our guest. Carmen and Jurko on ESPN 1000. Our takeaways, scheme, effort, combination of both. I mean, normally there's a lot of variance year to year with that stat. You seem to be pretty good at getting. It reminds us of Lovey a little bit. He was always good at that. Somehow the defense has always got a lot of takeaways. How do you do that?
Yeah, so last 4 years, top 10 in takeaways. This year, second. The year before that was fifth. What it is, it's a fanaticism. You are fanatical about taking the ball away, and it's a strip attempt on every single play, practicing in the game, never pass one up. And we're going to punch, hammer, and rake the football every single time, and we're going to coach to that every single play. If you're the first guy in, second guy in, or third guy in. And then we're going to teach hustle. We have a premium hustle here because when we're stripping the ball like that, we are going to scoop and score. If it's a city fumble and there's a lot of action going on, we're just going to get on it and we'll teach them how to do that. If it's out in the country, we're going to scoop and score on defense. So it's just about a mindset. We have a lot of ways to measure it, a lot of ways to reward players with shirts and and points and trophies and all those types of things. But man, we are excited about getting that going, and in turn, that's going to help our football team be a really good on offense of protecting the football because of that fanatical way we go about it on defense.
Is that your number one pet peeve, lack of effort?
I would say yes. That's my number one pet peeve, and I will be on top of that. That's going to be the biggest thing we look at. That's a foundational piece. That is our cornerstone. We're going to be an effort-based team, and that's what we're going to do.
What is the loaf system? Is that like a grading system you guys have when you watch the tape?
Yeah, it's just about effort. It's a way to grade effort. For example, not going full speed. You can see that, and that would be one. Getting passed up by a player of a similar position, that's another one. Not finishing physically to the pile is another one. So those are a few examples of loaf, and we're going to be on top of that. And that's one play at a time. We're never going to let that go.
Justin Fields is the quarterback that you inherit. There's a similar situation here where Trubisky was the quarterback that was inherited by the coach, by Matt Nagy. When you take a look at him, and I don't know if you had to scout him, if you scouted him when he was in college and you were taking a look at him, what are your thoughts about Justin Fields?
Yeah, I got a chance to meet with him. My first day on the job, of course, I met with Justin and talked to him, and that was a great visit. What a great young man. I'm excited about, developing him as a player, as a young man, as we get going here. Very athletic. Does a really good job on the deep passes. And again, where every single player, what we're going to do this time of year, once we get our staff together, we're going to re-look at the tape, and we're going to have a developmental plan for them that they can work on their own with conjunction with their coach, as they're away from the building and working out until April. And then once we get our hands on them, then we're going to continue that same developmental plan to make sure they are fundamentally better from when they leave us to get ready for training camp as they start in April. So we're excited about getting that plan together.
A couple more minutes with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus joining us on ESPN 1000. You've worked with some great linebackers. What do you think of Roquan Smith and what you can maybe even help him become that he hasn't already tapped into?
Yeah, so we're going to have to look and see how he looks at the game. Number one, I always say this with those backers, man, that everybody has their own camera. Everybody has their own lens. So I have to really get into his head to make sure that I understand exactly how he's looking at the game. And then from there, I can understand how to coach him better. So that's number one. But when you just look at the overall athlete, I got a chance to meet with him during the process of interviewing him and the combine. I got to spend a whole day with him, and I really enjoyed that. He is a strong and courageous young man that's going to be a really good leader for us, and I'm looking forward to developing that as well.
What's your philosophy on the use of analytics? A little, a lot? It doesn't matter. It matters some of the time. Like, how do you kind of approach that part of the game, Coach?
I think it's great. I love using all pieces of information. I take all information and I chunk it into a real simple form to be able to digest it. Okay. And then it really informs your instincts. And then at the end of the day, use your instincts at the end of the day.
All right, Coach, listen, we know you're busy. We appreciate the time today. Good luck. We're pulling for you. Everybody is. So go get it done. And thanks for the time. All right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
There's Matt Eberflus, the head coach of the Chicago Bears.